Hey there everybody, redxparasite here, and welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Prime 2. In the last episode, we did some things. Stopped here right before going to Dark Agon Temple, because it was a really good place to cut the episode off. So, in this episode we're finally going to go there. There's not much else left for us to do in Agon Waste at the moment. This room does not have any shriek bats in it in the Dark World. But we're finally here at the temple. But if we scan this, it will tell us that we still need one more key in order to get into the temple. But luckily, I saved the easiest for last. And the last key that we need to get is actually right here in this door next to the temple. It's not a very good hiding place. You should probably put it in a more remote location. Now, if you happen to wander here, first time you might find this key as one of the first keys, just because this is, we came here from the room that we fought Jump Guardian in. So, once you have all three keys, however, there'll be a light here, and that means we can go into the temple. So actually, fun fact about the way that cutscenes and the Dark World work, if you're standing in a safe zone while a cutscene's going on, you can obviously choose to skip the cutscene if you've beaten the game on that file before. But if you don't, your health will actually keep regenerating throughout the cutscene. So you see I went into that cutscene with only 20, or I guess 320 HP, and I came out with 40. So it can actually be beneficial to just kind of watch the cutscenes. If you want to regenerate your health. But looks like we have a boss coming up. This is the first major boss. Now we've had some, mini bosses so far, but this is the first big guy, or rather, three big guys. This is Amorbis. Now we can't. There are two different scans that you can get here. One is for the first phase of this fight, and then another one is a second form. So the first one you can just get while it's kind of leaping out between the sand dunes here. But this is Amorbis. Gigantic tunneling guardians. Avoid target as it enters and leaves the earth. Look for disturbances in the ground. Target cannot survive for long if its outer shell is cracked. Oops. That was the wrong button. That is not 2. The Amorbis can move through solid rock and earth with ease, and sense the location of surface level prey deep within the ground. They will attempt to ram any target they can find in their domain. They are vulnerable to all forms of weapons fire, but are incredibly strong and resistant to pain. So the game plan for the first form here: just look on your radar for where they're going to come out, and then shoot. Now, usually if they're jumping from somewhere that's not close to where you're standing, then you're going to want to move out of the way, otherwise they're going to hit you. So that's the basic premise of the first part. Now, once it attaches to the ball, that's when you can get the second scan, so that's Dark Amorbis. Dark Energy Charge Guardians. Targets gain armor, beam weapon, and regenerative powers when fused with the Dark Sphere. Weak spot within the mouth detected. Concussive force will deliver heavy damage to it. They can fire dark energy at light crystals, nullifying safe zones for a short period of time. So when they do that, you can't actually shoot these ones to make them come back to normal. You just have to wait. So usually you're going to want to vacate the area and go to a different safe zone or safe crystal. They can also channel this energy into a proper beam attacks. Bioscans indicate a weak spot. Alright, so the best strategy for this phase, just use a charge light beam shot, and that will completely break that armor protecting them, and then once they suck you up, just lay a few bombs in its mouth, and that is basically this fight in a nutshell. Now, each time that you deal damage to the second phase, you're going to start seeing more of the Amorbis surfacing. So the first time we only had one popping out of the ground. This time we'll have 2, so you can see that there's another one that's coming right for us. So you will have to target both of them. Oops. And stun them in order to get them to attach to the sphere and start the second part of the fight. So you just have to be wary of, if you're looking at one of them, the other one's often probably going to be headed your way. So you just have to be, you know, keep your eyes on the radar every so often just to make sure that, oops. Now they're probably going to end up doing that beam attack if you can't do that first. That's one of them. And that's the other one. So we're moving on to the last part of the fight. There's really not much more to say about it. I've basically described everything in detail. You can see they're actually dealing damage to the dark sphere every time they kind of knock it into the ground. Yeah, they're a bit harder to shoot from the other side of the arena. I would recommend using missiles if you can. They kind of take a while to travel, but either that or you can just use regular shots. Yep, see, I was about to say. I knew one of them was coming out of the ground right near where I was, but you know, I couldn't really see the other one that was coming right towards me, like that. But they also drop lots of ammo and pickups, so you really don't have to worry too much about running out of like energy in this fight. It's not a terribly difficult fight, if you ask me. You can actually see how much damage you've done to each of them by kind of the sections of their shell will turn lighter when you deal damage, and once you get it all the way to its head, then it'll go away. I think we only have the one left because the other two don't seem to be surfacing anymore. Of course, he keeps on jumping at it away from it. Hopefully that should be enough to get them to go to the next phase. Yep. Okay, so the laser attack they can start doing once they have at least 2 Amorbis attached to the ball. There is a version that they can do with 3 of them. But I'm not going to let them do that attack because I'm too fast. But the 3-tier version of that attack is by far the most dangerous. And this should be the last hit that we need. Alright, and our prize for defeating Amorbis is the Dark Suit. You know, it makes sense that the Dark Suit would be contained in something called the Dark Sphere. The animations for getting suits are always fun to watch in the Prime games. Well, at least Prime 1 and Prime 2. Prime 3's suits are a little less interesting, because one of them you don't even see that you get. But after doing that, we get the creature package. And I think it's this direction, but yeah, now there's a platform that raised up here so we can get out. But the Dark Suit drastically reduces how much damage we take while we're in the Dark World. So now it's only about 1 HP per second instead of, you know, a lot faster. And, you know, you think, oh, well, we're still getting hurt, but it actually makes a huge difference. Especially in terms of when you're walking in areas that don't have safe zones in them for a long time, which the game, you know, now that you have the dark suit, will start throwing at you. But we're here at the dark energy controller. I'm trying to see if I can scan the thing in front of it. There we go. Access point for the energy transfer module. So if you just walk forward, we get a cutscene. I believe I've said this before, but I find it, you know, extremely fortunate that these conduits that we can use with the energy transfer module are, you know, perfect for our gun. But once you take the energy, the sky kind of turns all red and, yeah, it really changes the atmosphere. Yeah, the atmosphere is dark, but now it's kind of like dark and lifeless. But we have our energy. Also, you know, Morph Ball looks different, of course, since we have a new suit. And now that we've seen this cutscene once, we can skip it. You know, we're already at full health. I believe doing the energy transfer will set your health to full. So once we step back out, we have some ing, but you can just ignore them. There's nothing forcing you to actually fight them. Okay. So our goal now is going to be taking the energy back to the light world and delivering it to the Agon energy controller. And of course, now that we have stolen the energy, we're, you know, encountering severe resistance. But of course, they don't think to lock the doors, you know, so we can kind of just walk straight out and not care. Although actually what I should do, I want to get some light ammo back, since we used quite a bit fighting Amorbis. It's close enough. And there's more in this room as well. Now, I actually am going to fight these dark troopers that are going to appear here. Just because there's a fun little trick that you can do when fighting them. And that is, turn this light crystal into a super beacon. And when they walk, or it's an energized crystal, but when they walk into it, they just kind of all die. So, you know, one shot and they're all dead, you know. Nice and easy. So, you can actually skip the cutscene for this portal as well. And we'll make our way back to the light world. So, our time here in Agon is actually pretty much over, at least, you know, for our first visit. We will be coming back, of course, since there are upgrades and things to do here that we have not yet done. But, of course, you know, we need to go to other places first in order to access all of them. So, we're just making our way to the temple. Oh, hey guys. Have we tried using the dark beam on these guys? One charge dark shot just kind of takes them down. Or you can do the same trick that you can do in Prime. If you freeze them like that, a missile will just instantly kill them. It's a cool little trick. And of course, the Shriek Bat at the back did not do the best job of dealing with them. So we'll just make our way back to the temple, going around the outside. Now we can open these doors on the left and right, now, but we can't do everything that's down either of the paths yet. So, you know, we'll save it for later. It'll just save us some time and, you know, traffic. Of course, once you walk into the Light Temple, there's also another cutscene of you giving the energy back. Now, the game will try to prevent you from leaving. If you try to go out through the main elevator that leads to the temple grounds, there will be kind of a barrier of light blocking it. I don't think that applies to all of the elevators, though. I may or may not be wrong. It's not something that I typically try doing, because most of the time when I'm playing these games, I'm just kind of playing them by the book. At least Prime 2. It's not a game that I've really done a lot of speed running of. But we have successfully delivered the energy back to the first temple of 3. It's a pretty long, drawn-out cutscene sequence. First, we give the energy back, and then it goes to the Great Temple. Then Yumel sees it, and he's all happy. Then we cut back to Samus. Look up at the pretty glowing ball of light. And the previous guardian of the temple, kind of thanking us, albeit posthumously. And with that, our business in Agon is done. So we're going to be making our way back to the main elevator. And of course, I don't know why I didn't do it before, but we can skip that now. There aren't any more pickups that we'll be getting in Agon until we, make a return trip. I mean, there are probably a few that we could get, but they're just kind of all out of our way. Or they would require large detours. Yeah, whatever. I got most of them. So I'm just gonna ignore you guys this time. It's amazing how well that works. I think before we go, I'm just gonna take a quick detour over here and save. Can't hurt. Whoa, the light just kind of disappeared there for a second, and then it flickered back in. Strange, but there's the main entrance. Say, one last goodbye to the Sand Digger here. And we'll take an elevator ride back up to the temple grounds. Now, the loading times might be the same, but the elevators sure seem faster in this game than in Prime 1. But now that we're back here at the temple grounds, I think this is a decent place to cut off this episode. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Metroid Prime 2. I've been redxparasite, signing out.